Hello and welcome to this very special educational episode of Chocolate and Cheese with me, Dr. Dom, and Lou.
Meow.
Oh, so you're a cat today?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Well, like I said, today we have an educational program, so whoa, you might actually learn something today. The topic today is how to win arguments. All right. Okay. And it doesn't really matter what kind of argument it is. It could be something very personal at home with your boyfriend or girlfriend, with your nan, with your auntie, whoever. It could be at work. It could be with a colleague. It could be with an annoying boss, or it could just be with a stranger somewhere out there. You're trying to get a parking space and they are cutting in front of you. For all these kind of situations, any kind of conflict, any kind of problem, any kind of argument, how are you going to come out on top? All right. Now, there are basically three tried and tested methods that, I've tried and tested them all by myself, and my mom has tested it as well. They're very simple to learn. Very, very easy stuff. The first one, is called pet punch. Now, this is nothing. Yeah, I know. It has nothing to do with animal cruelty. Okay, it's very, very safe. Okay, we both love animals. We love our pets. No, but it's called pet punch because it's all about making your opponent. And remember, this is all about getting in the mind frame of you're talking to an opponent, you're talking to the enemy here, and making them believe they're actually a pet. Yeah, so you're talking to them like as if they were your dog, for example. Okay, so imagine, your dog is very naughty. He's been terrible. He's got something in his snout that he shouldn't have. He just took your your favorite. He has your iPod in his snout. And you say, "Stop it! You're a bad boy. Stop it!" Yeah, so you're really going for it. You're really trying to tell him off. Okay, now your opponent he or she will not know what just hit them. Okay, and this is really one of the secrets of these techniques. Okay, it's about creating confusion. Okay, you don't want to do anything that is expected. Okay, so if somebody has a go normally at you, they're kind of thinking, okay, there are two ways of reacting. One of them is, okay, you're going to retreat, you're going to feel like, okay, easy, yeah. But the other one is you're going for another attack, so you also start screaming back maybe. But we're not doing this. Okay, it's about creating confusion. Okay, and now the confusion is there, then you try to destabilize them. You want them on the ground and you want to be on top. Okay, so you're giving them something that they don't expect. So you treat them like a pet. So you say, "He's a bad boy. Yeah, stop it. You stop it. Yeah." They're still gonna keep arguing, and you keep doing that. Now, if that doesn't work, if they don't shut up, you do a little bit of Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer. What does he do with very, very naughty dogs that are completely out of control? He gives them a little bit of a poke, in the side, not too painful. We don't want to injure our, we don't want to hurt them too much, So you give them a little bit of a poke, and you keep doing that, While you're still saying, "That's a very bad boy. That's a really, really, really bad boy." Okay. Now let's see what happens here. If they're still resisting, if they're still shouting and blah blah blah, you can even do something which is a bit controversial. You can just spray them with a spray bottle, with the water in the face. Dogs hate that. They absolutely hate that, and usually by that time they will submit. Okay. Now when that happens, if your opponent now is on the floor, you just sit on top of them. Okay. You're really dominating them right now. Really, really important. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's a bit difficult, but you're now on top. And now you're telling them that they're a good boy. Yeah? Because now they're behaving. Okay? So you're going to say, "That's a good boy. Oh, that's a good boy." Yeah? And then you can give them a treat. You can give them sorry, I have to laugh. Oh, sorry. And then you give them a treat, their favorite treat. You give them a little cookie or their favorite bone. Yeah? Yeah? And once you've done that, then you put the leash on. Yeah? And then you're going to go for a nice little walk. And they're yours. Yeah? And you come out on top. You've been dominant. You won the argument. Bam! That's how easy it is. Okay. Now that's one strategy. Now you might not be too familiar with with how to talk to pets and stuff like this. You might not actually have a dog or a cat. There's another technique. Okay. Now this other technique, quite easy actually. It's what I call psychobabble. Okay. You basically psychoanalyze the crap out of your opponent. Okay. So whatever argument it is about, you're trying to not go into the argument at all. Okay, this is not about the actual topic at hand, about the matter. Okay, you're trying to make this as personal as possible. Okay, so you would go into things like, whatever they're trying to say during the argument. It might be a heated argument. They might be quite angry already. So you're gonna say, whoa, you come across as quite aggressive. You want to tell me a little bit about your parents? You start stuff like that. Like psychoanalysis always works really, really well. And then the main point about, again, all this, similar to the other technique before, it's again doing something they don't expect. Okay, you're going to confuse them, and then you're going to destabilize them. So you start talking about really personal matters. Saying, you must have had a really, really sad childhood. That must have been really, really terrible. Were you adopted by any chance, or maybe you were a neglected middle child? Yeah, tell me more about it. Now, when you do this, they probably become even more angry and aggressive. Okay, but you're gonna use that and saying, wow, there's a lot of anger there. Huh? There's a lot of anger there. Oh dear. But I don't think you're an angry little monkey. I think you're actually a really, really sad boy. I think there's a really, really sad girl in there somewhere. Yeah. So you're gonna feel really sorry for them, yeah? And once you do that, you've got them. I mean, you've definitely got them by then, okay? So you're gonna use some of that, like early childhood experiences, You might even say things, I'm sure you're talking about the exact same thing with your therapist right now, I mean, I'm sure you're, and you use this kind of stuff. And again, once you got them, where you want them, they're almost probably going to regress into a child. Again, you go on top of them, you're on top of them and saying, who wants huggle? Who wants huggles? Who wants a cuddle? Who wants a cuddle? Who wants a kiss, yeah? And you're on top and bang, you've done it. That's how easy this is, okay? Now, we had the pet punch, we had the psychobabble, the last one, that's my favorite. Okay? It's called the antimatter attack. Right? Again, very important. The reason why it's called antimatter is because it doesn't matter what you're talking about. Yeah, it's antimatter. But it's more than that. It's also about making your opponent not matter anymore. Okay? So you're actually trying to create a situation where your opponent disappears in front of you. They're going into oblivion. Okay. Now this sounds really complicated, but it's actually quite easy. Okay. So the argument starts. They are saying something like, "Oh, how dare you?" Blah blah blah. Okay. And you immediately start going like, "You know what? I can see your mouth moving, but it doesn't make any sense. I can't hear words. What are you trying to say? What? You want your mama? You want your mama? Yeah? No? You want to go home? No? Okay, so basically, you're already trying to create something, okay, whatever comes out of their mouth doesn't actually make sense. It's not human anymore. There's something going on, okay? This is only the first step, right? Now, you can then continue by saying, you see, suddenly I can't hear anything. Okay, it's all gone now suddenly. Hello? And you actually, as if you were on the phone, you had a bad reception and you can't hear anything, okay? So they keep screaming and whatever, but you say, now suddenly you can't even hear anything anymore. I say, hello? There's nothing. I really can't hear you. It's just gone. Yeah. I can see again. You're jumping and you seem to be screaming, but you're making any noise. Okay. Very weird. That's the second step. Third step, very easy. They actually disappear in front of your eyes. Yeah. You can't actually see them. You keep turning around. Where's he gone? You actually ask your friends, whoever's with you. You say, where's he gone? He's suddenly gone. I can't see him. Bloody hell, where is he? Yeah. And that's the third step. They have disappeared. And then you say, you know what? If he's not there, if there's no, you just go home. Okay, let's go home. Bam! Got them again, okay? You don't have to sit on top of them because they're gone anyway, okay? They have disappeared and you win the argument. Isn't that awesome? 3 super techniques, quite easy to do. Always remember what they have in common. Number 1, don't go into the argument itself, make it personal. Okay, it's not about the matter. It doesn't really matter. It's that's quite important. Surprise them. You see, all these 3 strategies have this surprising element that they don't expect. So you surprise them, you confuse them. They don't know where they are, but you're on top of them. Bam. Yeah. And I'm guessing since nobody's here now anyway, I think we might just go home maybe. Shall we go home, Lou? Let's go home.